Hello children. So shall we proceed further with the poem, The Duck and the Kangaroo? Yes. So before we move further, just quick recap of the last session where we could come across the desire of the duck, which it starts talking to kangaroo, praising its graceful features. That's nothing but hopping and moving around. Which duck cannot do it, and duck also expressed its desire, saying that it also would like to move around the same way and if possible around the world. And also it feels sorry that it cannot do it because it doesn't hop. Then in the next stanza it also requests the kangaroo to take him on its back so that it can also move around and enjoy. And also it mentions the places. One is the river in England, another one is another place in West Africa. Then after listening to the request of the duck, then kangaroo replies very politely saying that I cannot immediately accept. I may need to think. Though I think also maybe it brings me luck if I take you on my back. But I only have one apprehension, one fear, that as your feet are so wet and cold always, and if I take you on my back for so long, they may cause me the rheumatic pains, the joint pains, the body pains. So very politely the kangaroo expressed its objection and apprehension also, fear. Then let's see what our little duck responds. So page number 96 children, fourth stanza. Said the duck. So now the duck's chance to respond to or to reply to the kangaroo. As I sat on the rocks, I have thought over that completely, and I bought 4 pairs of worst socks. So it says that, see the intelligence of the duck. So duck says that, yeah, I know about the problem. So I already thought about this before only, and when I was just sitting on the rocks, because it jumps and it flies to some extent of the height. So whenever it used to go and sit on the rocks, it says that I already thought about this, and what did I buy? I bought 4 pairs of worst socks. Worst is nothing but the socks made up of woolen, that is woolen socks. Then it says that no, you need not worry. I already purchased 4 pairs of worst socks with me, which fit my web feet neatly. And even it is describing the size and saying that I have selected a very good woolen socks, 4 pairs that too, which fit perfectly to my webbed feet also, because they are very broad and wide. So my webbed feet also can definitely completely be covered with the help of these woolen socks. So the word which is used, worst, W-O-R-S-T-E-D, it's worst. Then, which fit my web feet neatly. So don't worry. And to keep out the cold, I have bought a cloak. Then it says that you are always cold and wet. So it says that no, you need not worry. I already purchased an overcoat also. C-L-O-A-K, cloak, the word is used here, children here. Cloak is nothing but the overcoat. So duck is assuring the kangaroo that you need not really worry, saying that my feet are always wet and cold. So now they won't be wet and cold because I already purchased 4 pairs of woolen socks, and also I have got one overcoat to cover my body where I won't be seen being so cold. So don't worry. And every day a cigar I will smoke. Do you also know? I will smoke a cigar. Cigar is a kind of a cigarette. So I also smoke cigarette to keep the warmth in my body. So it says that cigar gives me warmth. So I even light the cigarette. Also I smoke. Allow to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. So then, assuring all these things, immediately when the problem is expressed by the kangaroo, solution is very much ready with the duck here, saying that I did not worry, I already have got socks, 4 pairs of socks that too. I also have got a overcoat. Then I will also smoke a cigar which keeps me warm. So don't worry about my cold like body or whatever you feel. And please, my lovable kangaroo, now you can take me. So do you think that now kangaroo can say no to duck children? The way kangaroo expressed its objection was so lovable. Similarly, the way the duck had intelligently answered and responded to the kangaroo also is worthy to really enjoy the poem. Am I right, children? So now let's see what happens. Then said the kangaroo. Then now the turn to speak is of kangaroos, right? So kangaroo says that, said the kangaroo, I'm ready. So of course, because it was quite happy, the one and only objection what it had was, if I take you as you have cold and wet feet, I may have problem of joint pains. But when you are assuring that you will not seem to be cold and wet, then why don't I take you? So I'm ready. And in the moonlight pale. So in the evening, late evening, they started moving. Moonlight pale. Pale is nothing but dim, children. So in dim moonlight, they started. But to balance me well, but you will need to do one thing to balance, because when I hop, I will need to balance myself. Dear duck, sit steadily. So it is guiding the duck how to sit on it. Because my nature of movement is hopping. When I hop, I will need to balance my body. So to balance my body, when you are sitting on me, you will need to sit steadily without any movement. Steadily is constantly, without any movement. Sit still, without any movement. And quiet at the end of my tail. And where do you need to sit, you know? Exactly quiet at the very end of my tail. So even kangaroo has a tail also. So it is asking the duck to sit at the very end of the tail so that maybe it feels comfortable. Take the duck on its back. So away they went with a hop and a bound. So hop and a bound. Please underline this, children. So away they went. So once they're done, and the way kangaroo was asking duck to be seated at the very quiet ending of the tail, so it sat. They started their moving, having what? Hop and bond. Hop and bond is, the way they were having their own friendship, the way they were having their own love and affection, like hop and bond. They started moving. And they hopped the whole world 3 times round. How many times did they move around the world? Thrice they had moved around the world. And who is so happy? Guess who is so happy? Oh, who? As the duck and the kangaroo. So both are very happy, because whenever we go on a tour, children, we want somebody to give us company. We want a companion. Am I right? So till then we need to assume that even kangaroo wasn't that happy as it used to move all alone. When it took the duck along, then even it felt so happy. And in third stanza, if you remember, children, kangaroo stated that, I think it brings me luck if I carry you. So the same thing happened here, because even kangaroo seemed to be so happy carrying the duck on its tail. So that's how happily they made 3 turns around the world. So we are done with the poem, and now let's discuss something about the poetic devices also. First one, refrain, already we have done the discussion. Then coming to another poetic devices, alliteration, children. Alliteration, as already we have learnt about, it's nothing but repetition of consonant sounds. So if you see in the poem, the second line itself says that good and gracious. Good, the word is starting with letter G, and gracious also is starting with letter G. So it is a G, the letter itself is a consonant. So G and G, so consonant sound is repeated here. Similarly, it says that I wish to go around the world. Whole world, it does mean that. I would like to go the whole world. So whole and world again, in the 5th stanza, if you see, whole world, W and W. So again, consonant sound is repeated. So it is alliteration. Then imagery. So imagery has strong expressive words, where they enable us to visualize the things with the help of those poetic devices used so beautifully and effectively in any of the poems. Here, kangaroo says that my apprehension is to take you on my back. I have fear that as you have cold and wet feet. Isn't it, children? So as soon as it is using such words, automatically even we feel that yes, as always the duck is in the very watery surface, right, which is dirty. So always it definitely seems to be what? Very cold and wet. So cold and wet, these words, wet and cold or whatever. So these kind of things, they come under imagery, because immediately, like if at all tomorrow you see the question, describe its feet, web-feeted, and also you can mention cold and wet objects. Then finally another one is inversion, children. This is something new which you have come across along with refrain and also inversion. This is the first time you are coming across. Am I right? Inversion is nothing but, like wherever you see two speakers talking to each other, and alternatively by changing the turn they speak to each other. First two stanzas are said by the duck to the kangaroo, and third is kangaroo to duck, then fourth is duck to kangaroo, and fifth is kangaroo to duck. So alternatively, when the speakers they change their turn to speak, that's called inversion. So alternatively they speak, the speakers speak. So all these four poetic devices are touched here. And moreover, children, like if at all, like there are no textual questions, but you can definitely make as many questions as possible, because this is such a beautiful poem. Though it looks so humorous by looking at the way the duck is sitting at the quiet edge of the tail of the kangaroo and all, but it has lot of irony in it. It has lot of inner depth of the meaning, where you will need to know the bond and love between two friends, and what is real friendship here, and how to approach somebody when you want the work to be done by the others, how to approach, how to persuade the thing to the others, and also how to speak when you want to get your request to be accepted. One must speak very politely. So there are many skills we can really learn, by these two characters. How can one extend the support to the other? Of course, kangaroo was the one to fulfill the desire of the duck. Even kangaroo could have reluctantly could have told that, no, I'm not interested to take you because you have cold and wet feet. I don't want to take. Why does it need to take really a risk when it has the problem of being caused with what? Rheumatic pains, joint pains. So that's called the bond of love and friendship between these two. So I believe that yes, there is a lot to learn from this poem. And they may ask you that why did it call, why did the duck call the kangaroo as good gracious? Because of course it is a minimum courtesy. When we initiate any conversation to somebody, one must greet the other. So that was the style of the duck to greet the kangaroo, praising its beauty. So automatically the other one, the listener, would automatically feel so happy, and there won't be any chance to say no to the request placed also. That's also another reason for that. Am I right, children? Then they may ask you that what was the wish of the duck? So the wish of the duck was to move around the world. So in what way did it express its helplessness? It said that it also would like to, it wished to fly and hop, but it cannot fly high, and no question of hopping because it's only a duck. Then it says that as I cannot fly high and as I cannot even hop like you, so there is no chance for me to move around the world. Right, children? And then they may ask you a question that how does the duck want to move on the world? By taking the help of kangaroo, because duck's idea was to sit on the back of kangaroo to move around. And which are the two places mentioned in the poem? One is Dee, it's a river in England. Another one is Jelly, it's another place in West Africa. And then what was the apprehension of kangaroo? What was the fear of kangaroo? What was the objection of kangaroo? Kangaroo's objection was that the duck had cold and wet feet. Then what do you mean by the word reflection? Here contextually the word reflection here means what? Thinking. So all these questions are possible to see whenever you have any exam or test. Then how did it reply to the kangaroo? When kangaroo expressed its apprehension, objection, how did duck subside its objection? Then say that all the three things you will need to mention. One, it says that I have 4 pairs of worst socks, is nothing but woolen socks. Second one is I also have a cloak. Cloak is nothing but overcoat. Then also it says, I also have a cigar with me, which I smoke every day. Daily one cigar I smoke, which can keep me warm. So to get the warmth, I even smoke. So you do not worry. All these things, it already made the kangaroo to feel so happy. So what was the reply received by the duck from kangaroo? Kangaroo said, yes, it was very much ready to take the duck. But what suggestion was given by the kangaroo to the duck to be seated? The kangaroo suggested the duck to be placed at the very quiet edge of the tail of the kangaroo. And also, what did it advise to do? The kangaroo advised the duck to sit steadily, as the kangaroo had to balance its body while hopping. So after advising the duck, so we will need to assume that yes, duck might have already placed at the quiet edge of the tail of kangaroo, and they started moving. Then how many rounds did they take the world, around the world? How many rounds did they take? 3 rounds. Then finally they question you, who was so happy? Of course, 2 of them were very much happy. Isn't it, children? The kangaroo and also the duck. Both of them, they were so happy. So finally, this is how they landed. And I believe all of you have really enjoyed it and understood also. So you all can just look at the pictures given in your textbook also. They are so funny, and you will really understand. The way the duck is talking to the kangaroo. Kangaroo is bending towards the duck and listening as if we're human beings also. Whenever a tall person listens to the very short one, they bend and they listen. The same way the kangaroo also is listening. And one thing I really enjoyed it here, and I liked it, children. Here it says that maybe it might bring me a luck also. So when somebody is suggesting something or somebody is asking a favor from you, then you also can feel the same thing. If you do that, maybe it brings you some luck. Of course, it is said to be so, right? When we do good, we receive good. Of course, we receive good. So both of them, they really enjoyed it and they had a lot of fun, and they had their tour as one of the memorable journeys, whatever they had it. So that's what is the duck and the kangaroo, children. And I believe you take the life skills what have been taught with the help of this beautiful poem, which is a nonsense verse, which is like nothing but, which looks like a song having rhyme and rhythm, and also tinge of humor is added. Because only in cartoons you will usually see the animals and birds talking to each other and all. Right? Years ago, I used to follow Oswald, one of the cartoons. I really used to love it. Very years ago. Octopus, lovable, it's a very dangerous creature, we call it as. But they made it so lovable, in the way they have designed the character. And Winnie, another character, which used to be a short dog, they're all so. And they call it one of the butterflies, as a beautiful butterfly. All the characters, I still remember. So only in our visualization that is possible. So to reach the common people, the poet has used the beautiful poetic devices and also the kind of the poem, that's nonsense verse, to reach us all. So the inner meaning is nothing but to develop the polite talking, the way you need to approach, the right approach of the person, the way you will need to assure the other person when somebody is really extending the support to you. And you will need to really maintain the bond, have friendship and love. So spread friendship around, and do remember that you are always supposed to maintain the same bond forever. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Am I right, children? So both of them are happy equally. Reciprocation. Because when kangaroo was moving all alone, it never had that happiness. But when duck joined it, it felt so happy, and that's the reason why they're like, who is very happy? Who is very happy? It's not a single person or single creature there. Both are equally happy. So I hope that even you will have the same kind of friends, and you will also reciprocate the same way, how they would talk to you, how they want their help to be done by you, and the way you do extend your support, the same way you will also get the same love and affection from their side also. So no hatred, children. Just throw the hatred away in the bin, and let's only spread the love and friendship around. I believe all of you might have understood. So let's meet in the next session, children, with another new lesson. So this is Vijaya signing off. So keep extending your love and affection to your friends. Thank you.